Sneha's sleep was haunted by chilling whispers and twisted shadows that seemed to slither along the walls, curling around her bed like living things. In her nightmare, skeletal trees reached for her, their branches clawing at the air as if desperate to drag her into the darkness. A cold, eerie melody filled the air, echoing through the fog and chilling her to the bone, each note twisting her fear tighter. She tried to run, but invisible hands held her fast, their grip tightening with every desperate movement, as if the nightmare itself refused to let her go. The whispers grew louder, swirling around her, promising forbidden secrets and demanding a terrible price in exchange for escape. Suddenly, she was trapped in a windowless room, a single candle flickering in the suffocating darkness, its flame casting monstrous shadows on the walls. A faceless figure glided toward her, its palm marked with a glowing spiral that pulsed with an unnatural light, drawing her gaze in terror. It pressed the symbol onto her wrist, pain seared through her, burning deeper than any wound, as if the mark was being etched into her very soul. Sneha jolted awake, heart pounding, drenched in sweat, her breath coming in ragged gasps as she tried to make sense of what had just happened. She tried to convince herself it was just a nightmare, repeating the words over and over, desperate to believe them. But then she saw the mark on her wrist, pulsing with a silvery light that shimmered in the darkness, impossible to ignore. Terror rooted her in place. The nightmare had crossed into reality, and she could feel its presence lingering in the room. The fear in her eyes was a reflection of a horror she could not escape, a silent scream echoing in the darkness, promising that the nightmare was far from over. Rishi woke to his mother's anxious voice. Sneha wasn't answering her door. He knocked, called her name, but silence pressed back. Pushing open the door, he found Sneha lying still, eyes wide and empty. His mother's cry shattered the morning. Rishi rushed to her side. Her hand was ice cold. On her wrist, a glowing spiral mark. Grief and confusion crashed over him. This was no ordinary death. Just yesterday, she was laughing at the dinner table. Now, she was gone, fear frozen in her eyes. Rishi held his mother as she wept, anger rising beneath his sorrow. He stared at the mark, making a silent promise. He would find out what happened to his sister. Inspector Ravi arrived at the scene, his footsteps echoing in the silent, shadowy hallway. His face was unreadable as he surveyed the room, eyes darting from the scattered belongings to the pale outline on the floor. He questioned the family gently, his voice low and careful, noting Rishi's insistence about the strange mark and the nightmares that had haunted Sneha. The forensics report came back quickly. No signs of forced entry, no evidence of a struggle, nothing out of place. The cause of death was listed as heart failure, most likely suicide, the report said. But Ravi felt a nagging doubt. Ravi tried to comfort Rishi, saying, "Sometimes young people hide their pain, and it's hard for even those closest to them to see." But Rishi refused to accept it. "Not Sneha. Look at the mark," he pleaded, his voice trembling with conviction. Ravi examined the photo of the spiral on Sneha's skin, an odd, intricate pattern, unlike anything he'd seen in his years on the force. Officially, it could be a tattoo, a brand, or just a tragic coincidence, the kind that makes cases messy and hard to close. He promised to look into it, but his tone was flat, betraying his uncertainty and the weight of procedure. Yet the fear in Sneha's eyes in the last photo, and the perfect, almost unnatural mark, unsettled him deeply. This didn't feel like suicide. Something about the atmosphere, the details, felt wrong, like a puzzle with missing pieces. As he left, the image of the glowing spiral lingered in his mind, casting a shadow over his thoughts. He filed the case as suicide, following protocol, but kept the file open on his desk, unable to let it go. Something about this case felt far from over, as if the real story was just beginning to reveal itself. The police closed the case, but Rishi couldn't let it go. He replayed every conversation, every memory, searching for something he might have missed. The official explanation felt hollow, and the pain of losing Sneha gnawed at him, refusing to fade. Haunted by Sneha's death, he searched for answers online, night after night. Sleep became a stranger as he dove deeper into forums, news archives, and obscure websites, desperate for a clue. At first, nothing. just tattoos and symbols, scattered meanings that led nowhere. The internet was a maze, and every path seemed to be a dead end. Then, he found a news report. A young woman, Priya, dead after nightmares, a spiral mark on her wrist. The details sent a chill down his spine, echoing Sneha's fate. More cases surfaced. A student, a musician, a dancer. All young women, all marked, all ruled as suicides or unexplained deaths. The list grew longer, and the similarities became impossible to ignore. Each had suffered terrifying nightmares before dying. The pattern was undeniable, a chilling thread connecting them all. Rishi realized these weren't coincidences. Someone, or something, was hunting them. The truth was darker than he'd ever imagined. The police had missed the connection, dismissing each case as isolated tragedy. No one else saw the bigger picture. He printed out articles and photos, faces of the victims staring up at him, their stories demanding justice. The evidence was overwhelming. Priya, Anjali, Meera, Sneha, all linked by the same nightmare and mark. Their lives and deaths, intertwined by something sinister. Rishi alone saw the full picture. The responsibility to uncover the truth now rested on his shoulders. The weight of that knowledge was crushing, but Rishi knew he couldn't turn away, not when so many lives depended on what he might discover next. Rishi mapped the victims' locations. No clear pattern, but the deaths were accelerating. The time between each case was shrinking. The hunter was growing bolder. How many more were marked, waiting for the end? The police wouldn't listen. He needed proof. His search led him to Meera, the victim before Sneha. Meera had planned a trip to a remote, ancient temple known for strange legends. Was it coincidence or a clue? It was his only lead. Rishi packed a bag, determined to follow the trail. The hunt had begun. He was now the hunter. He had to find the source of the nightmare before it claimed another life.